Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as I am going to be sharing with you a channeled message from my online portal called the Galactic Center. So I hope you enjoy this message that came through originally on July 12th, 2022, yet the messages and themes are timeless, and I trust that it will resonate with you when it aligns with your own energy. It feels like we're really more sensitive and connected to these energy streams because of everything we've cleared out. And I know we've discussed before how we're able to hold more light. Our energy has lightened up. We've also become more enlightened. And so now we're able to hold more of these energy codes as they come in, and we feel them. We feel them intensely. So that's why it's important to be aware of these energetics and these downloads, because they are working with us more than ever. This is a part of ascension. This is a part of spiraling up to these higher places within our own energy field, and how we're then more open to receiving these energy streams as they come in. So essentially, July has moved us through a portal into new energies, but it's also felt like a wobble. If you have felt energetically wobbled by something, meaning you don't feel as grounded, steady, or clear, it could be because of what you're integrating, what you're feeling, what you're sensing, and then also the growth that's happening, the ways that we are blossoming and our energy is growing because of these light code downloads. So know that it's essentially feeding us. We're receiving new energetic nourishment, and it's because of how far we've come, meaning you couldn't have probably felt the same way 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We weren't in that level of energetic alignment. So this is something basically to celebrate the portals, the downloads, the wobbles, even celebrate these energetic squeezes that you could be feeling at times through various parts of your energy fields. Meaning you could feel it emotionally, physically, spiritually. You could feel these energies working with you in ways that are just hard to describe at times. And that's also because they're new energies. They're new things that we are receiving that we aren't familiar with. So we're basically figuring it out as we go. And as the energies continue to accelerate on the planet, it's going to feel like we're working with new energy streams constantly. So just know that this is part of our ascension experience. This is part of what we are mastering and understanding about ourselves. And they're also saying this is part of how we're designed to be aware of our energy at a core level. Meaning there's ways that you have come to understand your energy system in this reality, in this lifetime. And that's designed to be something that you work with. You use that as a navigation tool, and you use that in a way that continues to honor what you need. They're also showing this to me as part of the incoming waves of the age of Aquarius, where we're able to understand how different our energy systems are from one another. So for all the ways that you're feeling something or integrating it, someone else could feel very different around what they're experiencing and what they are moving through. And we are seeing how we are different. And this is part of what we are accepting about each other. And in fact, this is a very important part of this message. And they gave me the title as Higher Harmonies. Higher Harmonies. And I received that title before I even knew exactly what we would be sharing and discussing. And the information is coming through as a council of energies that are different beings. And there's a very strong feminine energy and a very strong masculine energy that's being presented in this council of energies. And I want to acknowledge that because that is part of these higher harmonies that they're addressing. So, in addition to the new energies coming through onto the planet, they're saying that's going to continue. There's going to be ongoing downloads that we're feeling and sensing, and that it will be important to trust what you need, to trust what's correct for your energy, to trust what's calling to you, especially physically and energetically, whether that is requiring more sleep or finding that you can't eat enough food, like you're constantly hungry. It could be that you're desiring more water. I mean, this can be very basic stuff, but they're saying that that's part of what we're needing in order to support ourselves as these downloads and integrations continue. They're also showing me this visual of light codes that look like keys. Little keys that have something that's designed to support our energy. And they're saying these are transmissions from soul level frequencies. And this is something that you can energetically tune into or tap into, but there's energies coming in that are giving us these new solutions, these new energetic understandings. And again, it just looks like these little keys. I don't know how else to describe it, but they're also designed to unlock something that you're meant to see in yourself, in your awareness, in your consciousness, but they're also showing it to me as something that connects to supporting the expansion of our light bodies. And so they're showing me an aura, and at the edge of the aura, there are new light frequencies that are moving around the aura. And this is part of what we're calling in and integrating, and that this can be done as quickly or as slowly as you prefer. It depends on how you work with energies. But they're saying that we're essentially calling in these new light codes that are designed to support us as the planet continues to move through some very, very big energies. And these are energies that are going to be ongoing waves of very dynamic changes, very big shifts and collapses. These are energies that we are using to essentially stabilize ourselves in our light, and to trust that that is one of the most empowering things you can do, especially when it can feel like so many things are out of your control, or it just feels like they're chaotic and in turmoil. They're saying that the planet needs more of this light now, and that in fact, so many of you are familiar with the term light workers and what it means to work your light and what it means to be in the light during the dark, whether that is to be a beacon of light or to hold a lantern or perhaps just a flashlight of some kind. But now they're saying that it's more important to fully integrate that light in yourself. And they're showing me a lightning bug. They're showing me something that is able to just be one with their own light frequency. This lights up literally your light body. And it's no longer about feeling a responsibility as a light worker. It's shifting into some new understandings and definitions of who you are in a way that allows you to trust your own beingness and to trust your own light is shining more effortlessly. And that part of the light worker agenda was to bring in the higher consciousness and frequencies into places that were really uncomfortable and unsupportive of that energy. And that's how you change it or shift it. That's the beginning of it. But what they're saying now is that there's already been so much light activated and flooding on the planet that the assignments are changing. And you could be feeling that. You could feel like your own sense of what you desire or want is shifting. You could feel that you're receiving new messages, direction, or even inspirations on where you want to use your energy. So that was a big message that assignments are changing on the planet. And that's part of where there is a divine order. That's also where there is higher harmony. And they're showing me this as a very elaborate system of moving parts that is really hard to describe. But essentially, as more people have awakened and become more curious about energies and spirituality and consciousness, it continues to shift what we experience on the planet. It's like more people stepping in to the system, if you will, to the energy system. And then that means other people are able to go into new places or different places. And keep in mind that this doesn't mean you have to all of a sudden quit a job you love and move into something that is more spiritual, quote unquote. It's about the energy you travel with wherever you go. They're showing me a barista, someone who makes coffee and connects with hundreds of people every day, and that is a way to share your light. It doesn't matter the what so much as how you're showing up, how you're embracing your energy, how you're putting it out there. So they're saying that a lot of the assignments are changing, and that is something to trust in yourself and to know that it's right on time with this energy that looks like a very synergistic changeover of where you might be ready to go next or grow next, as well as anything new that's calling to you. And so again, this relates to these higher harmonies, that the earth is in a higher harmony even as things continue to fall apart or collapse within certain energetic realms. And that is right on time. In fact, that is one of the ways that the earth is changing what it supports. And it's showing this energy at like a core level of the earth changing its own frequency. The planet internally shifting what it's ready to create next. And they're also showing me this as the consciousness of every planet in the solar system is also moving into a new experience of itself. It's almost like every planet being very alive, being its own life force, its own consciousness, and interacting with all the other energetic frequencies and vibrations around it, and how those are constantly in motion and shifting and evolving. So it's a very dynamic interplay between all these energies that is very dynamic and alive. And it's meant to remind us that we as individual human beings are not the only ones going through a significant transformation. In other words, every planet in our solar system is in fact undergoing some type of deep shift, and it reverberates off each other. And then they're showing me a pool table where you have different balls rolling around and different things moving, and that there's a lot in motion. So just to understand how we can be very focused on our own planet, on our own specific energies, but that there's a lot more and it's all interacting with each other. And that's why it's always quite interesting, as well as potentially quite confusing at times, because there could be days when you're actually feeling the rising consciousness of another planet, where you're feeling, say, the energy shifting in Mars or the energy shifting in Neptune, and that you're feeling that very personally, or that it's something that's working with you very intentionally as you rise in your own consciousness. It then affects the consciousness of those other energies as well. So it's an ongoing conversation. Now, bringing the energies back to our planet and what is continuing to move through us and across our planet is that they're showing me this visual of torn fabric that's been ripped apart, fabric that's been pulled apart, destroyed, and separated. And they're saying that we have the power to weave those pieces back together energetically, meaning we have the power to look at how humanity has more in common than not, to find the similarities between our other brothers and sisters on the planet, to find a way to bring that cohesion and acceptance back together. And that part of what we can do energetically is imagine these two pieces of fabric being woven back together with these beautiful strings of light or threads of light, and to bring it back together as a way to energetically and even visually heal humanity. Heal the deep divides, heal the division that has persisted on the planet in a way that maybe we haven't known how to address, and that we don't have to even have specifics, meaning you could just visualize this as a very basic exercise, but you could also do this through weaving the energies together around what we have in common with each other that can never be taken away, that can't separate us, that can't remove that very beautiful fabric of humanity that always exists. And this is how we know that, of course, separation is an illusion, and it's something that we experience as part of the energies on this planet, that we're designed to move through these various energies in the full spectrum of expression as a way to learn about them, to learn about ourselves, to raise our consciousness, and to become more aware of what we can choose while we're in a human body. And they're saying that if you focus on just energetically weaving together any forms of separation, it could help with the overall energy on the planet at this time. They're even saying you could pick a particular cause or topic if that's what calls to you. You could pick something like politics, gender, race, finances, spirituality, belief systems, and so on, and use that as a visual of, again, healing the divide or bringing those pieces of fabric back together, because they're saying that's what's really needed right now. In fact, we definitely need that energy of light and peace and harmony, but that there's even more that can help heal the divides that have persisted for centuries. And yes, this is energy that has persisted for centuries across humanity's experiences. So they're saying that that could be one way to use your light or to focus your energy if it calls to you. Simply tapping in to that energy of unity consciousness, tapping in to what that really means, and to find the similarities, find what you have in common, trust what you're feeling around that, focus on that. That is part of how we continue to elevate the energy on the planet. And of course, that's also part of what we can do with intention with our energy. So that is another way to bring in these frequencies of light and to heal and basically create new energies of unity, and to do it energetically first, because everything starts in an energy form before it's brought down into our physical reality. And the more that we do this, the more that we bring in these potentials onto the earth, and that's what opens up them manifesting. So this is how we counterbalance other energies on the planet. This is also how we practice remembering what we share with each other, what we have in common, what we want with each other or for each other. And it's remembering that the human experience has more similarities than differences. So the more that we essentially invest our energy in these types of visualizations, the more they will start to appear on the planet. And this is one way that we can lead the energy forward, and we can continue to activate more of the new earth consciousness that already resides within us, that's always resided within us. And what that means, like what that even looks like specifically, can start to show up even more in our everyday realities. And of course, this is going to be essential again as the energies on the planet continue to go through some very big waves and uncertainties. The other thing that they're suggesting is that you develop and know for yourself what raises your vibration, meaning when you're feeling that you're moving through a tough phase or a hard day, or you're moving through something emotionally difficult, where do you go to take care of yourself? To be honest with yourself about how you're feeling, but to also have a process in place that helps you return to a higher vibration, or at least return to your normal vibration. And they're saying this is part of our spiritual responsibility right now, because there can be a lot happening in the world that pulls you off of your balance point or pulls you away from where you naturally feel good. This is a time to understand your own personal process around raising your energy, raising your vibration, and to find things that you enjoy, that gives you life, that feels good, to understand what is best for you, that you can manage and you have control over, even when the earth and our environments are going through very drastic changes. So they're saying this is essentially similar to a toolkit or something that you need to rely on. They're saying this is going to be very important as we continue to move through the decade, where we're going to need to have things that we access and go to that remind us about what we want, remind us of what we can create, our power, our strength, our ability to live a good life. This is part of our ability to create what we want on this planet, and that it's really important right now as a driving force of energy. Meaning there can be times when you fall into the 3D or you go back into old energies and you realize that they sink you or they take away something. And this is where you then return to what you need, how far you've come, what matters to you, and basically take responsibility for lifting your energy back up to where you want it to be. Now, this is something that perhaps you already practice, but they're saying it's going to still be very important for the rest of this decade. It's very important to know what you need in order to remain in that place of trusting life, because life has so many phases and you could look at it through various lenses. And there are times when we have big energies of creation, and there's times when we have energies of destruction, and we're moving through both cycles simultaneously. So it can be easy to be taken off balance or focus on something else. And it's about just coming back to what you need that lifts you up, that returns you to what matters to you, what you do have control over, what you can focus on, and how that essentially is good for your energy. They're showing me this too as the energetics of millions of people doing this around the planet helps maintain the harmony on the planet, meaning for all the ways that some will be in chaos, despair, fear, powerlessness, that can be counterbalanced by those who are committed to tapping into their light, harmonizing it, grounding it in, owning it, embracing it, and allowing that to be the place that you live life from. And I have to tell you, I'm getting so dizzy with these energies. So just a moment, I need to ground myself. Okay, now the final message they wanted to bring forth was an acknowledgement of your healing path, how much you have been through, how much personal work and shadow work you've done, how much healing work, inner child work, how much you've done perhaps around family connections, or what you've been experiencing in this lifetime as it relates to other lifetimes. This is a huge category. There's a lot here, and it's very personal for each of us. And they're saying that so many of us have already surpassed what we thought we would heal in one lifetime. they're saying we've actually surpassed our own unconscious expectations of what we could move through simply because of the commitment, the drive, and the support we've had to move through various parts of our energies and to arrive at a more healed place. And so they're really strongly emphasizing and acknowledging here the fact that there are very strong healed feminine and healed masculine energies on the planet and within us, to embrace that, to embrace what has been healed, what you have already moved through in your own consciousness, and to see how that is a part of our power in this lifetime, and to be open to that in yourself, to be open to what you have healed, to recognize it, to own it, to fully stand in that power of how far you've come. Because they're showing me 80% of the energy has been deeply healed. And yes, there is more healing work in a human experience. They're saying that that's actually unique to a human experience, is that there's things that are always coming up, that are coming up in your emotional body, in your fear body, in your spiritual body, energies coming up from your ancestors, your genealogy, anything you've been through with your parents, anything with your children, and so on. They're saying it's like this endless list of things to work on, but it's important to acknowledge how far you've come and to be very selective and aware of where you are directing your energy, your focus, and your consciousness, because there are people at various places in their healing journey, whether they're just getting started or they're only, let's say, halfway through, but they're moving through things at their own pace. They're moving through based on how they're designed to grow, how they're designed to heal. And that is a very personal thing, where some people move fast, others would be perceived to move slower, but all is in divine order because there's no race. It's not a race. And so they're saying that it's very important to look at what you have healed and to live from that environment, to live from that place in yourself. And they're showing me this as little cells, obviously the cells in our body, that are these beautiful flowers. They look like these beautiful blossoming flowers, and they're brightly colored, and they're healthy and happy, and they're nurtured, and that's part of the visualization to apply to our energies, to apply that to 80% of your energy or more or less. Certainly trust what you're feeling around that. If you're feeling like you're at 60% or whatever it might be, the number doesn't even matter. It's about acknowledging what you have healed, because that is more important than anything at this point. And they're calling it the healed feminine and the healed masculine from a perspective of what has been deeply reprogrammed, rewired, and honored within the differences of the feminine and the masculine, because they're very different energies. And that there's things that we notice within ourselves as well as within our interactions with others that maybe are revealing what you have moved through, what you have healed, and where you're owning your energy differently. And that's part of this beautiful visual of these flowers that are in full bloom. And again, it looks like they're just these bouquets of energy within us that are helping us continue to blossom and grow. But they're saying, notice the beauty. Notice the beauty of your energy right now, where maybe you thought, you were dealing with a lot of weeds or a lot of barren ground or a lot of emptiness. And they're like, look at what is now harvesting, blooming, what's coming through in a way that is part of our awakening. And they're saying that there are more energies coming up around healed feminine, healed masculine energies that are very synergistic, that have a beautiful interplay, a beautiful dance, and that's also how we're creating more harmony on the planet. But it's a higher harmony, meaning it's a new way of doing things that is also ancient. And it's very interesting because there's like these ancient teachings and understandings that are coming forth that are very supportive of these energy fields. And it feels too like, that could be part of what we're wrestling with intellectually. Like intellectually or mentally, you could be wrestling with some concepts that you're trying to place or look at where they fit in your life right now. And this is part of the integration. This is part of what we're understanding about how things can work together. And they're saying that there's a lot here that can bring about beautiful understandings, beautiful connections, beautiful unions, beautiful energies. It's like things being paired up. And they're showing me matching salt and pepper shakers, like where the energies are coming together. Again, they're syncing up, and there's something here that we're meant to step into and to fully own and embrace that is going to continue to blossom and bloom. And this isn't only like romantic partnerships or unions or anything like that. They're showing me this in the workplace. They're showing me that there's this new respect for what the feminine and what the masculine is about. And they're showing me this energy of maybe working with a colleague in a new way, or a boss, or a client. They're showing me that these energies are starting to come alive. And there could be new relationship harmonies occurring in multiple areas of our lives because of this new energy frequency. Now, yes, it's going to vary for everyone and it's going to look different, but it's understanding this is a very alive energy on the planet. And they really, really wanted to emphasize the healed portion of things, what has been healed, what has been acknowledged, what you've moved through. And they're saying that is a beautiful celebration. You've come so far, again, much further than perhaps you thought you would in this lifetime. And that's because of your own willingness to go there, to be uncomfortable, to step into these places and to look at some things that perhaps were initially very scary, uncertain, powerless. The work does continue. The trust in your own process is essential, but they're just saying there's a huge acknowledgement at how far humanity has come, because you might not see that in your everyday life. Like you might not see that on certain energies around you, or if you were to look at things, from another perspective, especially a 3D perspective. But this goes back to the light workers, the star seeds, the energy guides, those of you who are here to do things differently in this lifetime especially, and that your energy has done so much, and to just recognize that in yourself, to love that in yourself, and to allow that to be the new energy of your own beingness. Now, I can feel and sense that there are some other more practical messages that they're holding off on, and that this was meant to be a message of encouragement as well as a recognition of how the energies have changed as we move through July. And that's part of what they just wanted to share at this time. And so I will trust that. I will trust that that's all that I need to say or share with this particular message. Again, I am very dizzy, so I am going to sign off and go ground myself. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here in this special space. It is a privilege and an honor to connect with thousands of you all over the planet. I hope that this energy supports you. It's validating you. It's giving you that soul level recognition of what this lifetime has involved for you. And I also hope they want me to leave you with that visual of your cells looking like beautiful bursting flowers. And hopefully that gives you something to connect with and visualize as we continue on this journey. And I'll see you back here soon.